you saved dozens of productivity tips and you bought, I don't know how many business building courses, right? And of course, you're working through like 30 mindset books right now that are on your bookshelf, but you haven't gotten through them all. But you're still here. You're still in the exact same place that you were 12 months ago. And if this feels familiar, stay with me, because this isn't about lacking discipline. It's about a subtle pattern many of us fall into without actually realizing it. We're treating self-improvement like it's endless preparation instead of real change. See, you've probably told yourself, I just need one more framework or one more system or one more insight, and then I'll start, and then I'll get going. But the truth is deeper. Often we're not seeking information to act on. We're actually drawn to the feeling that comes from consuming it. We're drawn to the feeling, right? And the quiet sense of momentum of like being on the path without the discomfort of actually stepping forward. See, I've written a book, I've written a number of papers, I've offered a lot of different mind frameworks and coached for many, many years. And, some people take it to heart and apply the ideas consistently, and they can see their lives shift within, weeks, sometimes days. But others just bookmark everything. They add them to their collection and nothing changes ever. And it's not really from laziness, though. It's from a human tendency to get hooked on the anticipation of progress rather than the reality of it. So let me walk you through what's happening inside right now. We'll call this the dopamine anticipation cycle. So when you save a post about starting a business or optimizing your day, a small burst of dopamine releases in your brain. And it's the same region that lights up for food or other rewards, or like connection and stuff. But importantly, dopamine surges most strongly from expecting the reward, not from receiving it. So saving the content triggers a vivid mental image, just like you as a successful version of yourself. It feels motivating. It feels like forward motion. But it's motion in imagination only. Your brain registers the feeling as progress, even though no real step has been taken. That's why hours of consuming content can leave you feeling energized and productive, while just minutes of implementation can feel draining. Consuming is safe. There's no judgment. There's no risk of visible failure. Your nervous system stays calm. Action, though, it activates both reward and threat circuits. The amygdala flags potential exposure. It's like, what if this doesn't work? What if this is cringe as fuck? What if other people see me struggle or mess up? And then your stress hormones rise, your focus narrows and then shuts down. And then the easiest path becomes just return to reading more shit, and the cycle continues forever. So why does the mind cling to learner instead of being a doer, right? Well, your brain maintains an internal sense of who you are. That's its job. This is what, people call your self-image. And it's stored in your brain in places like your hippocampus. I don't know if you know anything about that. But right now, that identity most likely reads, I'm someone who's learning how to improve. And that's a comfortable place. Perpetual preparation means you're almost always there, protected from like real tests or for proving or disproving whether the knowledge actually transforms anything. And then shifting to someone like, I'm someone who improves, requires action and vulnerability and the possibility of setbacks, and getting judged for what you do. And it threatens the current self-image you have of yourself. So the mind is doing its job. It's trying to protect itself. And every time you consume without acting, it gathers more evidence that collecting information is just who you are. You're just the person that collects information, and you're reinforcing that. And then over time, trying to become someone who does the work starts to feel unnatural. It's like it's almost threatening. And suddenly, then there's excuses pop in your mind, like you got no motivation, there's no more time, or I need to learn more, I just need one more course, or I don't have enough money, or whatever it is. And they're all just protective mechanisms keeping you in the familiar zone of who you think you are. And this pattern turns self-improvement into something that feels like nourishing, right? Like you're nourishing yourself, but it actually keeps real growth at arm's length. like mental rehearsal without performance. So in actuality, if we're just summing all this up, what you're really doing is every time you engage in this sort of self-help, whatever you want to call it, festival, you're simply reinforcing exactly what you don't want. So that's why I say it so often, self-improvement is masturbation. You're not going anywhere. The key is to take action. And I'm going to talk about the next steps that you can do to start thinking about that in future videos. But we need to have this baseline understanding. But it's so important to understand these fundamental aspects of your brain and when you're interacting with other types of content that you think is helping you. Is it really helping you? So anyway, stay tuned. We got more.